Fishing trips anywhere, anytime. FishingBooker.com.
Welcome to the Habitat Podcast, the podcast for wildlife habitat management, hunting strategy, and land stewardship. And now, your host, Jared Van Hees.
Welcome to the Habitat Podcast.
I'm your host, Jared Van Hees, and we're here to become better habitat managers together. Guys, it is full-blown habitat season right now. I don't know if y'all are as busy as I am, but man, this time is always my busiest time of the year. Today's episode, we are in northwestern Wisconsin, Florence County, with my good buddy Jeff, a longtime Habitat Podcast listener, a Patreon member at our Habitat Podcast Patreon group, and now a new good friend. Jeff is a great guy. He's got 40 acres in northern Wisconsin, and Andy from deercamp.podcast and myself traveled up through the UP, right on over to Jeff, and did a full land plan tour plan, boots on the ground consult on his farm. Guys, we have Jeff here today. We're going to hear all about the property, his history, kind of how he grew up and where we're at now, where he's at in his journey. A great Habitat Podcast episode. Thank you so much for tuning in once again as we bring you free weekly podcast episodes here at the Habitat Podcast. If you do appreciate all of our free weekly content, if you could scroll down, there's a link below to leave a review. If you're on the podcast app on your Apple phone, 5 stars, write something nice. I'll send you a free decal. Those reviews help, first of all, they put some fuel in the tank for me when I read them. That's pretty awesome. And then I'll send free decals out to get these as well because I respect you guys' opinions. And man, it just helps us remain the number one Habitat podcast in the world. So I appreciate that. I also want to thank every other Patreon member we have. We've been talking a lot about I call it our Patreon hunt. We're going to have a full deal about it, but we're going to West Virginia in early October to hunt with Scott down there. And right now we have 7 of us total. If you are a Patreon member, you are welcome to join us on this hunt. We'd love you. Love you to come down. It's going to be a great time. Scott's doing a lot. He just purchased a new parcel. He acquired one that's going to join his property down there. We're going to be up in the hills and the mountains of West Virginia, and I cannot wait to go see a new part of the world with a bow in my hand come October with a group of guys that are becoming really good friends. We talk every day on this Patreon group, and would love to have more of you. If any of you want to learn more about what we do day to day and want more habitat content than what we're trying to put out weekly, feel free to come scroll down, join the Patreon, and I'll get a hold of you. So I do also want to say I picked up my Morse nursery trees today. I have 16 fruit trees going in the ground. I'm going to do half on the 40, half on the 70. I was just up at the 70 last weekend. The ice storm has totally obliterated that property. I spent 3 nights cutting up trees and grappling trees and building a huge burn pile just on maybe 2-3 acres up top where my big field is and the driveway, the cabin. And man, we went for a walk with my family and my wife on the belly of the beast, we call it, down below. It's a wreck. I can't get anything down there. First of all, the road was bad. Now there's 40 trees across it. So we're going to have to call all the deer camp guys together, band of brothers style, and everybody bring a chainsaw. We need to at least get the roads open so I can plant the food down there. We have blinds to put up and dial that property in. It's a great parcel, and now Mother Nature has opened up the canopy even more, which I love her for. But man, infrastructure and travel on the property will be blocked and closed down for the foreseeable future. So I do want to thank all of our partners at the Habitat Podcast. Whenever you guys support them, I get a text from Lincoln. Hey, this guy bought a cultipacker. He used your code HPC25. That's amazing. Hey, I bought my new Latitude saddle. I told him I found him at the Habitat Podcast. That's amazing. It just helps us help them. They obviously see value in that, and then we love it that you guys support the companies that I trust and believe in, and the products that I use. So, guys, another great episode here. I'm going to get right to it. We have a Habitat Day coming up this fall. Stay tuned for that. We have more episodes coming up. My good friend Bobby will be on here soon. And thanks for tuning in as we become better habitat managers. I'll see you next week. Guys, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Morse Nursery. I've been planting Morse Nursery trees from their nursery here in Michigan since I've been doing habitat work on the 15 acres. Right before I sold the 15, I had my apple trees budding and dropping apples. I had my chestnut trees dropping chestnuts, my crabs, the pears. Guys, Morse Nursery has been around for a very long time. Charlie Morse used to run the show, and man, their tree stock is unbelievable. MorseNursery.com. Fall is the time to place your orders for the spring. Whether you want chestnuts, persimmon, apple trees, pears, oak trees, or any tree and shrub protection. They even offer a survival kit for $10 that will warranty your tree. You do everything right and it's still, you get the drought or whatever, you still have a warranty. Morse Nursery offers that. Guys, they have starter bundles. They have a hardiness zone map on the website. Morse Nursery is my go-to spot for wildlife trees. I'll be picking up a load of the oldest trees I can get and bringing them down to a client of mine in Iowa and Illinois here very soon. I think if anybody's interested in cold, hardy trees, tough trees, good genetic trees that have stood the test of time, check out MorseNursery.com. We even have a code. If you're on Morse Nursery's website, you want to save some money, use code Habitat10. That's 10% off. We even also offer some dealer pricing. Habitat Pockets, we are a dealer for Morse Nursery. If you're interested in getting a good a good orchard set up on your property, let us know. We'll be happy to help. Guys, check them out, MorseNursery.com, Habitat 10. Funny, I was recording with Giannis here in Wisconsin, and he's like, all right, let's do the podcast. And so I popped this out, and we're sitting there. He's like, so where's all your gear? I'm like, you're looking at it. There it is. But they're big, real podcasters. They're studios, right? Nothing like what mine looks like. So
mine can be my kitchen table most of the time.
I think it used to have to be like that. You used to have the mixer and everything else, and now with technology and the way stuff's getting.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas can take that audio and just make it.
iPhones get good audio.
Yeah,
Zoom gets good audio usually.
I mean, that's what we're recording on right here.
Like some of those podcasts that have video with them, and these guys have like amazing little man caves that they can do it in. Yeah,
I've got
that would be nice.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's a slow process. I got the wall put up.
Yeah.
Like a background wall.
Yeah, I did a pine back wall, and I'm gonna put some mounts on it.
Well, you gotta. If you're gonna have a deal, you gotta have. You can go to rummage sale and buy somebody else's racks, whatever you gotta do, and put them on a wall.
Yeah. Andy, he's got a few racks lying around.
Yeah, that's okay.
The video aspect is you have to be more intentional about it. You have to set up, you have to haul all the stuff. So it's worth doing because YouTube's the way of the world, but you can't just throw this on right here
and like you went to Tony Rat's house, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I threw my phone up like this when he was talking for a few of the videos, and he wanted me to bring the camera down. So next time I'll bring the camera down. But
did you walk his place?
No, you got a top secret access to do that.
Yeah, you got to pay to find out about his wind tunnel.
Yeah,
and that's what I wanted the most.
I know.
And even at
I tried getting out of him on the podcast.
I've asked him about it a couple of times. Nope, you got to pay for it. It's like,
I mean, I guess
I
get it.
Yeah, I guess if that's how you make your living.
You have to protect it.
Yeah, you have to.
No, we're not going wiring houses for free.
Right.
Well, I mean, I have been, but yeah.
Lately, I got a lot of friends that are calling in favors.
It's amazing how many friends you find out you have.
Yeah, I'm looking for a generator. So
It's all right. We're friends. I got you.
Yeah. Hey, that electrician voice you hear there is touchy.
What's up, guys?
We're over here in Wisconsin. Then we have our friend Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
Good morning.
He's also an electrician.
Also an electrician.
And we're over here in northern Wisconsin. Would you consider this northern Wisconsin?
I would. There's a debate in Wisconsin as to where northern Wisconsin starts, as to whether it's Highway 10, 64. We're north of Highway 8, and just what everybody believes north of Highway 8 is truly up north, and we are north of 8. There's a saying that the laws are different north of 8.
We got that same debate in Michigan. Where does it start at Cadillac? Does it start at Lewiston? I say it starts at the bridge.
The Milwaukee Bridge?
No.
Oh, no. Mackinac Bridge?
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there.
I think it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but for me, being in Traverse City, going north.
And you're already up north.
Yeah, I live at the cabin, so.
Yeah, but the scenery up here feels north.
Yeah, this is
all the aspen.
Yeah, big pine.
Big pine. It feels north.
Big tracts of land.
This is
public.
This is a lot of big woods here. You don't find egg around my area here at all.
Yeah, it was surprising though. All the deer we saw pulling in here. We're up here for a land plan visit with Jeff and Andy, and I came in yesterday and we saw deer out at 2 p.m, just everywhere, a couple miles down the road. So we figured there's a lot of deer around here. Then on the way to dinner and the way home last night, we saw about 200
at least. So, yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Plenty of deer. Well, Jeff, let's hear a little bit about you and kind of how you got into this place here, and if you don't mind, paint us a picture.
Well, so as I said, I'm an electrician. I'm from the Fox Valley area of Wisconsin, right by Appleton. Is my hometown. I've lived there pretty much my whole life. I come from a family that's never really had land or any place to go, so I never knew the lifestyle of what it was to be able to say we're going up to the cabin. I've got a girlfriend, quote unquote. We've been together 16 years, and long story short, she rekindled a relationship with her father, and in doing so, we've discovered that he had a cabin 5 minutes from his house that kind of changed hands through some friends and whatnot, and they're all getting up in age. They no longer wanted to maintain it. They didn't want the headaches of having this cabin, and somehow it all worked out, and I was blessed with being able to own 40 acres of land in my own cabin now, and it's been quite the undertaking. Which is why you're here.
Not only that, just the cabin itself has been an undertaking.
The cabin has been the biggest undertaking. I have done not nearly what I wanted to is in the habitat end of things. I really would. When this started, I thought I was going to be a lot further ahead than I am. As it turns out, my cabin looks nice now, but the land is not where it should be.
Yeah. Well, and we'll work on that. But your cabin is gorgeous.
Yeah.
We've complimented you a lot, and we're not just saying that this place is.
It's a real up north cabin.
That's what it had to be, that traditional up north cabin. I personally don't want the house in the woods. This had to be, when I'm coming up here, I had to be coming to the north. And I feel that throughout the remodel, we maintained what we have a lot of like modern feel in it now, like as far as the insulating in here that we did, and the electrical is all up to date, but it still has a lot of up north to it.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Quick, the definition of a cabin versus a cottage. What was that again? We went over.
I've been told that a cottage has a lot more amenities. Like my cabin here does not, never will have grid tied power.
That's the fan on the wood stove right there. No, that's good. That'll add a little ambiance.
Okay.
So, yeah, like a cottage is going to just be a lot nicer, a lot better feel. This is definitely a cabin.
Okay.
There's a lot of wood here, and it's drafty, and the only power we have is solar, or I can fire up a generator if need be, but typically we don't need that anymore. So.
No, your solar game's pretty good on this place. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. I'm pretty impressed.
And dead silent, and I don't get that electric bill every month.
Yeah. I learned.
I know generator sounds. Yeah, the dead silent. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I always thought a cottage meant it had to be on a lake, but so I learned something new.
Well,
It's just nicer. I guess I live at the cottage, not at the cabin.
it's going to be the fan down below.
Oh, is there a switch for that?
Yeah, you can. This side over here, down low, you can turn it right off, rotate it towards you, and no. Oh yeah, there you go. Good.
Sorry, podcaster issues.
There goes the ambiance.
There goes the heat. Feeling nice.
But yeah, I mean, we're sitting here. I can see the water heater, which is a couple giant tubs on top of a burner, which makes it feel just like deer camp.
It's a unique system.
It's awesome. And then the 12-volt pumps in the bathroom to get the water. I love it. I love every bit of it.
That's all you need.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You're sitting under a table with gas lighting.
Love it. Tell us about the hunting history that you know of here on this place, and then a little bit about the parcel itself and how it maps out.
So I guess my knowledge of the history of this is my call him father-in-law. He originally bought this cabin in 1990. He and a group of friends have hunted it every year since 1990. They have shot actually some really nice bucks. You don't see them here because when the place went up for sale, they kind of took the bigger ones out of here, not knowing whether or not it was going to stay.
Yeah.
But they have taken some pretty nice bucks out of here, I guess. They have a heck of a deer camp. I was told at one point they did sleep 22 people in this cabin.
Mm-hmm.
I put 10 of us in here for deer camp, and that's about all I really want to stack in here. We have enough room for 10 comfortable beds in here. The deer camp is a pretty special time here. We got people that come from all over the state, and that's the only time you see them, and they come in for this, and it is just a heck of a lot of fun. In my life, I've never really had a true Wisconsin deer camp. I grew up hunting, but it was just me and my dad.
Yeah.
So we didn't have the deer camp. And after I lost my dad, when I was about 30, one of my closest friends kind of took me and said, come hunt with us. And we started out staying in a motel. So you're not getting a deer camp feel there. Then I bought a fairly good sized camper, and I put the camper on the land, and we had some fun with that. But now I have a real camp, and
Tech.
felt like it, but I don't think it is. You see, no.
Yeah.
Well, you got that progression. You started at in a motel or hunting with your dad to a motel to a camper. Now you got the camp. I mean,
yeah, it's this was a dream. The land I used to hunt would be I'd like to say it's like television hunting land. It was dreamland. There were just so many absolute incredible booner bucks running everywhere on the west side of the state. But we didn't have the deer camp, and that's probably why there were so many big ones running around, because guys were happy if they shot a doe or a 4-pointer, and nobody really put in the effort or even knew at that time when I was out there finding these bigger bucks there. Nobody on that land had any idea that there were these monsters running around there. Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with that kind of deer camp of, it was more important to get back to camp so you didn't miss the bacon than you were to worry about the hunting.
And that's where I'm at now. For deer camp, I don't actually care much about the deer hunting anymore. It's the camaraderie. I love putting on camp. I love that it's my camp and I'm the host of it now. And I'll be up before everybody. I'll have the coffee going. Usually for deer camp, I have fresh bread baking before anybody gets up, and I truly, truly enjoy it. I'll sit here and wait while I have two-way radios so that when the guys are out, they can two-way radio, and if anybody needs help, they get lost. If they want me to get something going for them, they can radio it in, and I'll be sitting here and just enjoying it.
It's awesome.
And you mentioned you like to bow hunt more than gun hunt. So when you had this place in your crosshairs to come up here and get it, what were your thoughts with kind of how it lays out?
Well, my initial thought was, I don't know how you hunt this. This land was logged off 7 or 8 years ago, and it is so unbelievably thick that there was 2 existing food plots when I bought the place, which was one of the things I really wanted, because I've never even had land that had a food plot on it. The land I used to hunt was a working farm. So I didn't plant a food plot. We had several hundred acres and you just had to pick where the deer were going to be that night. Here, so I was very excited about having food plots where the deer, but that's the only places I can hunt my land right now. There's just, unless I were to, I don't even know, like set up a ground blind on one of my roads, there is no other place right now as it sits to really hunt this land because it's just so thick in here.
Yeah, and it was cut pretty hard to where there aren't a lot of tree stand trees left.
No, that building over there is loaded with tree stands for like ladder stands. I mean, I don't see them being used a whole lot.
Right. And so I guess tell us about, we're at the very northeast corner.
Yes.
Where the cabin is. Tell us about how the driveway lays out and the food plots and the swamp.
So I'm off of it's a private road. We're up in here in Florence County. It's a private road, private logging road. It's a company named Lime Timber Company. They have land all over the country, but they own probably 100,000 acres or more up here. And so you come in off this private access road, and then I have a driveway that's probably about what we know it is, just a bit over a mile long. You come in off of that. The first half, 3/8 of a mile of it is actually public land on both sides of it. And then you get to the private land, which is my neighbor and myself. My driveway is one of my absolute most hated features of this land. It cuts right through the middle of my property, aside from the fact that it is a swampy mess anytime it rains, and I need to get that part dealt with. But I don't ever foresee any way of changing where my driveway is going to go. It's just not going to happen like that. It basically follows most of a ridge top to get in here, and it drops off on each side of it. And I guess I understand why they ran it the way they did, but as far as hunting purposes goes, putting a cabin in the northeast corner when you have predominant north and west winds was not the best layout for hunting.
And the entrance is in the southwest corner, so you're literally traveling almost directly through the center.
Yep. At one point, you're very close to being right in the middle of the property to get to my cabin, and I really dislike that part of it, but I'm stuck with that, so now I have to learn to work around that.
Yep. And then the wetlands around it, so those are to the south, would you say, and then the east?
Yeah, on the we have a swamp. I call it the bottoms of my land. It's the southeast part of my land, and then to the south of me, the neighbor, he owns a larger swamp. It's actually really kind of neat how I have an upper that's real dry, very dry up here, and we have a lot of poplar hardwood up here. And then you just drop down into the bottom, and it's a whole different world down there. It doesn't feel like you're on the same property. You get into marsh grass down there, and there'll be cattails down there, and it just hunts completely different.
We saw some red osier dogwood down there. A lot of conifers that are popping up, lower, smaller ones, 5-8 foot and under, all around. It's pretty diverse, and the topography changes enough.
Yeah, you really don't. You would not see it, and once we hit green up, you really can't tell. There is a lot of actual topography movement on this land. It's not mountainous, but it's enough that the deer, I'm certain, will use that topography to avoid walking on the top of the ridge and whatnot. They will. It's kind of neat how the land rolls and you don't really see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for a 40-acre piece, it sure feels like it's a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
My lights can feel it today, so there's definitely some topography. Yeah, hell yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't just me. that was a hike yesterday.
Yeah. We that's what we want to do. We pulled in and like, all right, get the boots on and
walk the entire thing,
Jeff, and we saw the whole thing. It's thick.
It's very thick. It's been daunting to me with how thick this is. And right now you can see how thick it is, but you get into September, early October, and it's green, and you can't see 5 feet into my woods, and you sit there and you just think, how am I even supposed to see a deer or where they're moving? It's a daunting task to hunt this land.
Yeah, but they're here. I mean, we found more poop than I've seen in a very, very long time. I mean, you've got cover. They're here.
Yeah, we found a lot of sign. We found a ton of different beds. We found a specific buck bed, if not more. And you have bedding, no lack of bedding.
There's no lack of bedding or security cover.
And it's all around the edges as well as internally, but definitely on the edges.
Yeah. I was very surprised actually to see. I kind of had the feeling that they were just with the way we come through. We come up to this cabin almost every single weekend. There's only a few weekends of the year we don't come up, and that's if my daughters have something going on. I'll stay home. Otherwise, I'm here. I don't care what else is going on. I'm going to be here. This is my little happy place. But I think because of that, it is going to push the deer to my outer sides, my outer edges, and then they come in for the feeding.
Yeah. I mean, even with that, though, we saw the first buck bed we found was looking at one of your trails.
Yeah.
I think the last one, that I think is a buck bed we found, is right down here, right below the cabin.
Yep, right below the cabin was one.
They're not far from human activity, and the more I do this, the more I find them right where I hate to find them.
Well, yeah, they're watching you.
So every time.
I believe it was last year. I've got a set of binoculars on the table over there, and from here I could watch the side of that ridge out the window over there, and I could actually see a buck on that ridge. And cool. It's kind of neat to be able to watch that right from my living room.
Yeah, no kidding. And maybe off the deck that way, in the future at the end of the plan we did yesterday. So how's your hunting experience been here? You personally?
Enjoyable, but it is a learning experience, I guess, to put it nicely. I'm used to hunting something that's more like a park-like setting, the stuff we don't really want. I'm not used to this incredibly thick land, and I'm used to hunting egg. I've spent the last 16-ish years hunting egg land, and this is a big wood setting, and it is a very different experience as far as that goes. I'm used to you got between the bedding / security and the food, and the deer were going to come right to you. And I've been finding I have to work for it a lot harder here.
Yeah, it's a way different setting when you're hunting in big woods versus ag land. I've hunted a lot of ag. I've hunted a lot of big woods. Ag's a lot. You see a lot more with ag because it's open. I mean, it's
Yep. Yeah, this is the opposite of that. This is really thick, and you've shot one deer here in the last 2 years.
Only one.
You're kind of doing that on purpose.
Purpose, because I really didn't want to start taking too many until I had a better feel for what our deer population was, just hunting purposes. And she likes to see the deer too as much as she can, but seeing the deer generally doesn't lend well to hunting the deer either. So right. I have to walk that fine line.
Guys, if you do not have a saddle yet from Latitude Outdoors, you're missing out, and I urge you to go check them out. We are working with Latitude again this year, and their gear is my favorite gear to hunt out of and hunt with. All over the Michigan, all over Illinois, wherever I'm going, I'm rocking the Ranger 22 backpack and my full saddle setup, sticks, the whole gambit. Right now, latitudeoutdoors.com is running an outlet collection, they're calling it. 30 to 35% off. I've never seen a discount that heavy on this stuff. I urge you to go over to latitudeoutdoors.com, check them out, and get yourself in a saddle. They go to a lot of different trade shows, too, if you want to try one out. I ran into one of theirs over at J Sporting Goods in Gaylord, Michigan. They had them on the shelf there. So if you want to get one in your hands and mess around with it first, always a cool idea. We gave away a couple at the Deer Hunter Collective the other day here in Michigan, but I'm not hunting out of anything else. Even if I didn't partner with them, I'd still be hunting out of their gear. Matter of fact, before we signed up again this year, I was like, I'm hunting out of this stuff no matter what. So it's my favorite gear to hunt out of, mobile. I'm going to set up my HB40 to be able to hunt mobile, as well as my blinds for the kids, and have this thing dialed in. Guys, Latitude Outdoors, look them up. Check out the outlet. Get yourself a saddle.
Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. I hope you all are doing well. So we got a lot of new things happening at Vitalize this year, and I wanted to highlight some of those. First off, we got a brand new website. We just added a chat feature to that website so you can get your answers to your questions in real time or as fast as possible. Those actually come directly to us, so we can answer those questions, as well as has some auto answer features for those frequently asked questions. So trying to further increase the customer service that we offer. Number 2 is we are offering bundles now. So we got a lot of questions about people trying to piecemeal things together. So we took the guesswork out of it for you. You want a fertility bundle? Add that to your cart, and it gives you all of our natural fertility products in one place. We also are adding bulk pricing. So been asked about this in the past, and we've done some kind of one-off things. But for those people who are buying 5, 10, 15 acres, depending on the product, we're going to be offering some bulk pricing options for that. So right now we got that up on Nitro Boost. We also are going to have that up for the Clover, Chicory, and Oats offering, and might expand that to other offerings as well. Other things are new products. So we got our annual Clover. That's a fantastic product for frost seeding and also for this early spring, especially for those who still want to plant Nitro Boost. They want to get that annual Clover established. You could go in and drill your Nitro Boost right through, broadcast through it, mow it off, spray it off, etc. We got our Premium Clover Plus. I'm using that on all my logging trails. That's a fantastic product. I'm also using that often with our Clover, Chicory, and Oats mix. So I might use Clover, Chicory, Oats in the first year on my logging trails like I did last fall. Let those oats come in, they'll die off, and then I can frost seed my Premium Clover and Chicory over top of those trails now. So those are areas where I want a perennial crop growing. So I'm using that mix. And then we added our brassica mix as well. We, of course, have our seed feed and seed armor. Those are selling fantastic, and various other products, guys. So please check us out at vitalizeseed.com. We sure do appreciate you, and we're looking forward to a fantastic 2025.
I feel you. I'm in the same boat. I've got my house sits on, the field behind it, and I want to plant it, fall. And my wife says no because she wants to see the deer.
Yeah.
I get it. Choose your battles, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. You just got to pick that battle. It's how far you push it. She lets me get away with a lot here, so I'll keep her happy too.
Yeah, you gotta check in with the admirals, that's for sure.
So, Jared, you've walked a lot of properties. What do you see here that stands out from others?
A couple things. Honestly, the most places I go to need to get a logger in and cut. My buddy Billy, who I was at earlier this year in Mount Pleasant, he's already got a skidder in there. He's already got a buncher ripping trees down. That's usually it's a park-like setting, needs to get cut. Same with all the farms that I bought are all the same, need to get cut. Yours, you need to get cut again. This does not need to get cut again in terms of mature timber.
Now, there's very very little of anything that would be called mature around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a overgrown clear cut.
Yes.
It'd be the best way to describe it in a general term. So that's going to flip some things upside down in terms of the way that we do things normally. Also, the fact that the driveway and the cabin are up through the heart of the property. I've seen that a few times with people who live on their properties in the middle of them. So we just kind of, again, flip that upside down too with the strategy and how we do that. So that's probably the two biggest things that stand out. And then my thought was we have so much woody browse here and the main part of a deer's diet, but we're going to add all kinds of dessert to the table and get these deer to where they're in front of Jeff at the right time of day, at the right time of year. So,
all of what you said is why I wanted you specifically to come here, because it isn't like most of the properties.
Nah.
I listen to countless podcasts, and everything is you have to cut to thicken it up, and and you have to hunt from the inside out and give the deer the middle, and that is not what my situation is. And I'm incredibly excited to see how you work with what I have here. I think it's going to be a unique situation for you having to deal with what I have going here as well.
Yeah, I'd love it. I think I kept saying it's like my Northern 70 quite a bit yesterday in terms of a lot of similarities with the habitat, the flora around here. What did you see along our walk yesterday that maybe I noticed that was new to you?
The amount of deer bedding really blew my mind. I've noticed that there is a lot of deer poop everywhere. I've been noticing that, but the amount of deer beds that you found, especially underneath all these pine and whatnot, it was like every pine had a bed under it. And I guess I probably was looking under those so much. And it makes, once you said it, it's like, oh, yeah, that is actually makes sense being way up here. They're going to be under that. I just I didn't pay attention to that as well. So I'm amazingly impressed at how that first one, when you picked up 3 hairs laying under a pine tree, it kind of blew my mind that you were able to pick that up so easily.
Yeah, that's a good one to normally try to, you want to know where they're bedding. You don't just want to assume. Mm-hmm. And then the bucks for sure. When you're like, I saw this buck, he ran that way. Let's go check that out. Let's go find exactly where he was. And we did. Yeah. And he's watching the damn trail.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really impressive to me, how easily you found a lot of beds and just like how much you were pointing out how everything was browsed down. And I see it, but I don't walk a lot of my land. I just try to stay out of most of the areas and give the deer, the turkeys, the grouse a lot of my land. But it was very neat to see.
Yeah. Yeah. The browse is very heavy. The deer poop was everywhere. And I guess that leads me to the next question. How did your food plots do? Because we'll get questions sometimes where guys are wondering if their stuff grew. And then, you start to take a look around like we did. And it's like, it got mowed down like a putting green because of the amount of deer around or lack of other food. How did yours do, and how long you been doing food plots? So
really, I would say last year was my first real attempts. Cool. I did some seed my first year here on the food plots, but I didn't know much. I wasn't listening to podcasts as much then. I didn't know what I needed to know. Because of listening to like your podcast, whatnot, I now have a Packer Max, the Cultipacker with the crimper on it. So when it came to spring, we sprayed the plots. The plots are there. They're cut and shaped, whatnot, but they were let go and they turned to perennial ryegrass, which wasn't helping me at all. No. So we sprayed Gly on them and then put Nitro Boost down, Cultipacked it in, and that came up phenomenally. I mean, everybody that saw it was amazed with how tall it got, and the deer were in there. It was unbelievable. My father-in-law actually said he hasn't seen this many deer on those plots at any time in the last dozen years or more. He said it was unbelievable how many deer came in. So he became a believer in planting them food plots. As I was saying yesterday, my downfall was the sunflowers and my girlfriend seeing the pretty sunflowers everywhere, which she then did not want me to terminate. So I broadcast in my carbon load, and that didn't do quite as well because I didn't Cultipack it. So that was true proof that, you do have to Cultipack. No matter how pretty the food plot looks, you have to take care of it and get it in there the correct way. I did learn last year that glyphosate doesn't actually kill thistle all that well. And my bigger food plot is loaded with thistle.
I saw this.
So this year I'm going to go in with some 2,4-DB, I believe, and try to get that killed. Actually, I was kind of surprised. I did see some of it was nibbled on, but there's way too much thistle in there. It's got to go. So I'm excited to watch the carbon load come back up now, if it does, because the deer are in there like crazy the last week or so, which tells me it must be greening up. But I'm excited to see the carbon load come up and then waiting to get my Nitro Boost in again.
Awesome. Yeah, I would recommend an exclusion fence on that too. That might show how the carbon load you could do that today.
I don't know if you saw it. There's an exclusion fence on the big plot. There is what it's not on the plot. It's sitting there though. So okay. I was going to go put it back out there.
I'm curious to see how much of the carbon load comes back in the fence and how much the deer are keeping it mowed off.
There's a lot of deer been out in those plots the last week.
Yeah.
So they're definitely mowing it down, and there's not that much green yet. So as this weather starts to warm up now in the coming weeks, I expect to see that shoot up pretty good.
And you said you had a Cultipacker, so that's awesome. I saw that out there. What other equipment are you working with up here? I mean, you're starting like everybody else. Like I started like everybody else with the equipment.
So currently, I'm running off of just an ATV. There will be a tractor in the near future, but currently I'm working off of an ATV. I have a spreader that I hang off the. I've been hanging it off the back, but now this last time I hung it off the front, and then I can pull my cultipacker right along and shorten this up. I have a 25-gallon sprayer that was here when I bought the place. The spreader was here when I bought the place. There is actually a drag harrow here. I haven't even used that yet because I didn't want to break the ground because we have such sandy soil. It drains out ridiculously fast as it is. So I don't want to be breaking my soil any more than I have to drying this place out. And then, I got the normal selection of all the different chainsaws and pole saws and whatnot.
Cool. Enough to be dangerous, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I seem to have a collection of pump sprayers going now too. One, for my spot spraying, and then we had some sort of caterpillar hit my fruit trees last year, so we were spraying neem oil on all my apple trees.
Fish fertilizer.
Yeah.
Just don't mix them up, right? Don't mix the gly with the fertilizer with the.
I actually, on my way up here, I was thinking I'm probably going to have to throw out a couple of my pump sprayers because some of them I have it written on it, what goes in it, and some of them I didn't. Now I'm thinking I'm going to have to throw those out and just start with new ones again because I don't know what was in them.
Guilty. Done that.
I got a corner in the barn full of pump sprayers because of that.
And they're $10 to buy a new little tiny one versus what was in there.
Yeah.
Do I want to kill this apple tree?
Yeah.
No, I don't. So
that would be my biggest fear. I fortunately bought this land with some existing older Wolf River apple trees on it, so I don't have to quite wait the 3, 4, 5 years for my new apples to produce, and that would be a nightmare to kill off my existing apple trees that I do have.
And Wolf River, I planted some of those on the 15. They did well. What else are you doing with trees? I see you got some other stuff in the plaza. You got some stuff back here.
So I have what I found out with my Wolf Rivers last year. I didn't get a single apple on them, and like everything else in my habitat journey, that led to me having to find out what is going on. And as it turns out, Wolf Rivers will not pollinate Wolf River, and that's all they had out there. So I now have several chestnut crabs. I have Dolgo crab apples, Red Delicious, Arkansas Black. I've got Gold Rush, Liberties. I'm trying to get apples that drop basically from August through December, and then also pollinate each other.
Right.
And then I also have currently now on the land, I have 8 Kiefer pears, which I also want to get some different pear selections in here too, just to get the drop times different on those. I have 14 I have 14 of the Morse Nursery chestnuts, 2 for August. Those aren't here yet. 2 August, 4 September, 4 October, 4 November drop. I have 6 dwarf chinkapin oaks that have to go in, and then I have some more Dolgo crab apples that have to go in yet.
Awesome. I think that's going to be pretty cool because you're going to have this place for a while, right? So
I hope so.
So when you can know that and put the fruit trees in and expect to reap what you sow there later on, that's going to be great, especially up here too. Those should do well.
I would think so. They my fear is going to be the bears when I get that much fruit going. We do have a very, very healthy bear population here. So that is going to be the challenge, I believe, once I get that much fruit growing.
Yep, I agree. But how are you putting those in? Are you going to dig them all with a shovel? You're going to drill bit? I
am hand digging them. My girlfriend is trying to convince me to use my electric ion auger to do it that way.
Ice fishing auger?
But I really don't. I don't want to do it. I'll just dig them. It's not a big deal. I do get the Morse Nursery tree starter kit that they with all of them, so that makes it pretty nice to put those in.
And if something happens, then that's your full warranty.
Yep, I love their tree tube.
Honestly,
tree tube is worth the price alone.
Yeah, my buddy Matt down in West Michigan, he's part of the podcast crew here. He put in a bunch of chestnuts last fall with you. Yeah. You helped him put them in. those, he said he had all but like one survive, and he said they all look great. And that was a fall planting.
Mm-hmm.
Those chestnuts looked really good in the fall when he got them last time. So curious to see how yours look when you get them. But yeah, they're some nice trees.
Mm-hmm. They do a good job there.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get things growing, especially the nuts. With the area I'm in, this is a heavy timberland area. There is no mass bearing trees, or very, very few. They're very hard to come by, and when you do come by them, to find ones that are actually producing anything is really difficult. As we saw yesterday, I do have, I think, like 5 small oaks on my land. One that I do know does drop acorns. We did find some last year. I had no clue until my girlfriend actually found some acorns that there was actually anything that was producing. But so I'm very excited to get some mast going here now.
Yeah, that's awesome. She found the acorns too. You gotta keep her around. I mean, she's out there shouting deer and shouting oak trees, and that's pretty cool. We saw those, and we found that last one at the end. You found it when we walked out on that ridge top at the very end.
Yeah,
that's another one to add to the pile.
There's another one.
So there's 5 or so on 40 acres.
Yeah, not. I would love to have that oak savanna of mature oak.
My favorite.
Oh, that would be nice to have, but not up here in timberland. That's not going to happen. Nothing gets to get too old around here.
Yeah. Well, what else you got, Jeff? I had a question I was going to ask you, so it'll come back to me here in a minute. But
let's shift gears and talk about deer camp traditions. What do you?
Okay.
What do you? You've got what you said, 10 guys that come in.
We have 10 myself plus 9 come in. It would be my father-in-law, and then three of his good friends that have been coming here for, I believe it's 25 years now. They've been coming to this cabin and hunting here. And then I brought 5 more of my friends with me. And it actually integrated surprisingly well for a bunch of people that didn't know each other. It really integrated well. And it's kind of neat what can happen over deer hunting and beer, as to how people that don't know each other can suddenly get along so well. And there's a lot of laughing that goes on in this place for a few nights.
Sounds like a good deer camp. Yeah, it is amazing how that camaraderie comes together of guys, just like-minded guys getting together.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I feel as though I've been missing out on a lot of deer camp in my life prior to this, so I'm going to make up for it now.
Heck yeah, that's all you can ask for, right?
I want to take a page from Joel down there. I think he's West Virginia, right?
Joel, I think it's in Virginia.
He just recently said he had trout camp.
Yeah, and
I want to put on a trout camp, I think, with my friends at some point here coming up real soon, and get the guys up here. And we have a lot of really high end trout streams around here and trout waters, and I would love to get the guys up here for a trout camp.
Yeah,
it's just so much fun to get the guys together and just laugh and do what we do.
Yeah, Jeff and Joel are both in the Habitat Podcast Patreon group, so that's how we got this whole thing going, and we talk pretty much every day on there. So
very often. I don't get on as often as I would like, and I was gone for probably close to a month because I ended up with a different phone and I could not get logged in with my stuff for anything. And finally I got back in, and good Lord, I had a lot of catching up to do. It's very, very neat to have a group of people that you've really never met in life, but you can call them friends.
Yeah.
To be able to sit and talk to. It's a fun group.
Yeah, you can bounce ideas. I mean, it's awesome.
It's that deer camp feel.
Yes.
Over video.
Mm-hmm.
And all over the country, from Wisconsin down to Jason's in Carolinas down there. It's like,
and then you got Chris in Texas.
Yeah, he's probably the furthest away.
I think he would be the farthest. Yeah.
And then, we get together. We're going to get together this fall in West Virginia for our first Patreon hunt.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
That's another deer camp.
That's right.
Asking about deer camp, I'm like, shoot, that Patreon group's a pretty good deer camp.
That I'm very much looking forward to. That's going to be a fun. I've never actually, aside from hog hunting in Texas, I've never hunted outside of Wisconsin. So I'm very excited to get down there and just see what hunting is in other areas.
Yeah. And congrats, Scott, on his turkey he shot the other day. That's pretty cool. He's going to be our host down there. We shot a nice time.
That was pretty amazing how he was walking in and then he comes right back on and he ended up having got one.
Yeah, hunts can change pretty quickly, right?
Yes, I can.
You got anything else, Andy? Any deer camp questions?
Man, I don't think so. I just what a spot you got here. It's beautiful. Appreciate you letting us come up and check it out. And
Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. This has been a very fun day for me. Amazing. I learned a lot from you, both of you guys coming here. Learned a ton, and I'm just so excited. I'm more excited that now I can actually start my habitat journey, and I can go on to our polo group and actually talk habitat things more so. My journey on there has been more. I'm still stuck remodeling.
Yeah.
And now I am going to be doing a lot of habitat work, and I'm very excited to be able to join into that end of the conversation. I'm going to end up like Bones. I'll be on there constantly firing off habitat stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Well, good. I thanks again for having us up here. Before we wrap up, is there I'll leave the floor open to you. Anything you want to ask, say, do, chant?
I guess I'm not real sure.
Okay.
I think we covered the very vast majority of what I was hoping to.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just appreciate everything you put out there for free content. Really, all the podcasters that put out this free content. I do know you have to be careful. You have to pick and choose what you're actually who you're going to listen to, because there's a lot of varying ideas out there. But I certainly appreciate. I had no idea. Never did anything in the habitat world at all. I went out, I set a tree stand, and I hunted. And my life has actually rolled into the hunting is almost kind of like the backside of the journey to me. The habitat work is, especially now that I own my own land, is I care more about making sure I have healthy animals on my land than I do. Like I still absolutely love the bull hunting and whatnot, but the habitat part of this has become the better part of the journey to me. And I love that. It's not 4 months of my year, it's my whole year.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun to watch what you can turn something into, because this was just a giant blank slate for me. It was just a big, thick, overgrown area, and I get to carve out what I want it to be.
Well, I'm excited to see how everything turns out for you and follow along on your journey here and see some stuff hanging up on the pole.
Yes, sir.
I do hope that happens.
Oh yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Well, they're here. They don't have to come, actually.
That's my end goal. Is just let everybody come in and do better. We don't shoot a lot of deer up here, and I really want to put more up. And
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, thanks for having us up,
Well,
Jeff.
thank you.
Really appreciate it, man. It was great.
no, I very much
Very nice
appreciate
to come
that.
up and check this place out, and we'll get you dialed in here soon.
That sounds great.
Thank you for tuning in to the Habitat Podcast. We really do appreciate you guys coming back every week to get this awesome Habitat content. And we would appreciate it if you went to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. That helps us continue to grow and trend in the right direction, attract new listeners, and help us provide better content in the future. Guys, we have a website full of resources. We have a blog on the website. We have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all linked up at habitatpodcast.com. Our land plan services, merchandise, decals, hats, t-shirts, and I give away a free 5-inch decal to anyone who leaves us a review on Apple iTunes. Really appreciate it. I want to thank our partners, Downburst Cedars, Vitalize Seed Company, Morse Nursery, Packer Max Cultipackers, Stealth Outdoors, First Light Latitude Outdoors, United Country Midwest Lifestyle Properties, and Exodus Outdoor Gear. Thanks again, guys. We'll be back next week with another great episode of the Habitat Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.